What's poppin', Schroit Nation? I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you guys are schroiting hard this week. Welcome to Schroit Worldwide, to the Schroit Worldwide podcast. My name is Mint Miracle, and today is a very special episode because although Flifmil is currently in Barcelona and something's going on with Hamburglar, we have a special guest right here, MADRE MUCHACHO.
I'm gonna clap for myself.
Yeah,
We're getting star-child right now. Let's be honest.
And this is also the first Yo-Yo Wiggins face reveal.
That's true. Aha! I'm not actually Foot
That's insane.
or Jesus.
Dude, that's crazy.
I could have sworn that it was.
Mhm.
I could have sworn. So yeah, it'll just be the three of us, but it'll still be an excellent podcast. So instead of doing a Bible study, we're going to start by doing Schroit news like we normally do, and then after that, we're going to do a cool little interview with MADRE MUCHACHO. We'll get some insight on what he does in the Schroit world.
Yeah.
So I think we're talking about this. I was talking about this with Yo-Yo, and it makes sense that we'll talk about all the releases from last week, but we'll keep the MADRE MUCHACHO ones till the end.
Sure.
Then we'll be able to segue that into the interview a little bit better.
For sure.
So that means we'd have to start with that new Amsterdam album,
Absolutely
Shibuya
insane.
Downtown.
Holy moly.
Shibuya Downtown.
I did not see that one coming.
Absolutely
Seriously,
not.
it's such a left field,
Yeah. Because their first album, The Garage, I was like, okay, nice.
Well, that's an interesting album
start.
because it's made on WarioWare on the DS, which is so controversial.
I think that's probably the only Schroit album made on the DS so far.
I would say probably.
I'd say that's one of my favorite Schroit albums in general. I think it's very creative, has a really good structure too, especially that first track. I don't remember what it's called, but right as you enter the album, it's very strong. And,
is the first one Grandpa Stomp or no? It's Love Is Wow.
No.
Love Is Wow.
Yeah.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one to kick things off. And a cool thing with Shibuya Downtown is the whole thing that it's one album, every track in a row. It's you don't want to just listen to one track individually. You kind of want that full experience, which I think is a really cool thing that works really well in Schroit when the whole album is only 3 minutes. You can get that full journey a lot easier than with an hour-long album, right?
Right. They're very coherent.
Yeah.
Right.
I know my initial reaction, my favorite track off that album was probably Concrete Jungle.
I have to agree.
Okay. Well, it looks like we both have pretty good taste then. Yuck. I'll stream this just so that let's face just one moment. We're just having some technical difficulties here.
Oh, whoa.
There we go.
Yeah, sorry. It would appear as though my Discord crashed. Just hold on, just one moment. Just having some technical difficulties here.
Okay.
Pretty good show does.
Yeah. Yeah, no, my Discord has been a little bit silly style recently. Just don't worry, my loyal, faithful audience of Schroiters. There we go. Much better. Oh, hopefully my camera's gonna want to turn on. Please. Yes! First try.
Nice.
Easy. Alright, and now we're gonna off to a great start.
Exactly.
There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay. So, let's put on Concrete Jungle then. Right?
So usually, in the short podcast fashion, we'll only play 1 or 2 songs from an album just to try and keep it short. Not that it's long, but because lots of releases.
For sure.
Yeah, we don't want to spend too long here. Let's get Concrete Jungle going.
It's a concrete jungle in there, race fans.
Oh yeah.
Just like life.
I mean, it goes pretty hard. I love that ending. It really helps build you up to that grand finale right at the end as well, which is very cool. Very cool. No, I was a big fan of this one. In my opinion, I think Shibuya Downtown is better than Allen in the Garage. I don't know if that's controversial, but personally,
I'm
that's my take.
honestly, I would say that I'd have to re-listen to both albums in order to confirm that. I listened very quickly right now to Vacation in Paradise Slap 2.
Yeah.
I actually really like that one. It's very upbeat, pretty
Yeah.
cool. We were talking to Hamsterdam earlier today, and the album art is also AI generated in good old Schroit fashion.
Yeah.
Which is, from what I remember, not what he had done with the previous album.
Yeah, with Allen in the Garage, it was something he had painted when he was a kid.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
But this was AI art as well, which is always fun to see. Now, not all Schroit albums have AI art. We know this. Even the first Flif Mill album, the first ever Schroit album, is not AI art. It's just a royalty-free image of a monkey screaming, which is an awesome album cover as well.
Yeah,
absolute classic.
Some really good knowledge. I didn't know that. I do want to add for the two Amsterdam albums, right? I really enjoy the charm of the first one, the fact that it was made on the DS and it has that sort of personalized touch with the image personally painted by Amsterdam himself. But I don't know. I feel like quality-wise, this new album is really hard to beat, and I don't know. I think this is like one of his better ones. I would say that like they're equally as fire, though.
Yeah, like they're both very solid. Like I don't think either of them are really like some Schroit albums. Let's be real, not every Schroit album is a good Schroit album. That's
right
for sure.
Let's just quote Patty Whack and
we always make fun of Patty Whack, aka Flavor Bomb. Always. They were in like the original wave of Schroiters, and they made 3 albums, and they're there. I'm sorry. We also know Patty Whack personally, so they know that we make fun of them. It's not like a behind the back thing. We're like, yeah, we make fun of you regularly, and they're like,
yeah. Okay. Actually, big news on the Patty Whack. Last Saturday, if I remember correctly, they teased an album, and then nothing came of it.
Yeah, they said Ugly and Senile might drop tonight, and then it didn't.
Oh, I saw that.
And it's still not out.
Yeah. So
allegedly he started, but we don't know. I just hope that he doesn't try to bring back intermissions, because I will get furious if anyone tries to bring back intermissions.
Yeah,
that was another like old Schroit thing. That
was an accident.
Yeah,
an accident in my second album.
Yeah,
created that, and that was initially it was there was not a purpose, but we assigned it a purpose, and then it was just stretched too far.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's that pretty much concludes that, right? Yeah. So we got Bronze Dinosaurs, which is my album.
Yeah. Tell us about Bronze Dinosaurs.
I actually usually when I make an album, what I'll do is I'll either make a bunch of songs and then try to find a name. I stick to a theme, which is usually some sort of metal, and then another thing, right? So in this case, the metal is bronze and then dinosaurs. And I remember I had the idea for my last album, which was Brass, or the album before, which was Brass Buildings. While I had Brass Buildings, I was like, oh, Bronze Dinosaurs is such a good name. But Brass Buildings is a great name too, so I couldn't scrap it. So I knew that for sure my next album after Brass Buildings was going to be Bronze Dinosaurs. I thought that Bronze Dinosaurs wasn't as good, I guess you could say. Not as strong, I find, as Brass Buildings was. But that's just because Brass Buildings came out and it was just such a powerful album, especially with after such a long time of not releasing anything.
Yeah, it was quite the comeback.
Right, a lot of creative juices stored. And then I would say that this is Bronze Dinosaurs is still a pretty strong album.
Yeah,
we got really the names are great. I love having like the best names. I mean, maybe not the best names because that was but I like sometimes I've got a list of names of songs, or sometimes I'll just think of them on the spot. Sometimes I have no idea what to name them, so I'll name them whatever.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of Schroit. But I would say my personal favorite on this album is Selby Holder's Hair. Selby Holder's Hair is at work. I had to watch these videos these old videos from like the early 2000s. And the instructor in those videos, his name was Selby Holder, and his haircut was terrible. So this is after Selby Holder's hair.
Okay. Sweet. Do you have a photo for reference at all, or could you pull that up?
I don't actually. I could probably get one though.
I'll say I'm still a big fan of this one. I love having that those melodic Schroit songs, like those kind of calm, serene ones, like Butterfly Dance.
Butterfly Dance.
I've already expressed this to Yo-Yo many a times, but one of my favorite Yo-Yo Wiggins songs is Pension Download Don't Touch .zip off of Rusty Car Salad.
Classic.
I love that song, and to me Butterfly Dance kind of has that same vibe, so the moment I heard Butterfly Dance, I was like, that's my favorite. What are your thoughts on this album, Madre?
I absolutely think it is immediately a classic. You know, the minute it dropped, I think it's just like concrete classic Schroit album. You got everything you want in a Schroit album present. I love the idea with the names, the mama, you know, it's really got the tone. You know, it's more like
YIUM.
Yeah, there you go. Fantastic. But yeah, it's I just love that it's so off the dome. It's so Schroit. Just our raw emotions as human beings are very well displayed on this album.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about.
Sure.
What do you guys think of the album cover?
I actually really like the album cover. It's
it took a few generations to get that one. I use Dolly or Stable Diffusion. Both of them.
I haven't used Stable
Diffusion.
Heard of that. I've only used Dolly.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I think the Brass Buildings album cover was Stable Diffusion. This was Dolly.
Okay.
Yep.
And actually, my album art for From the Gravy was Mid-Journey, but I haven't used that in a really long time. But
isn't Mid-Journey supposed to be really good?
Yeah. But the thing is, it's hard to get. Right? It's not free usually. Sometimes you'll be able to get it a couple. You're nice, but most of the time you have to pay, which is unfortunate because Schroit, unfortunately, at this point in time, does not make us a lot of money. But we're gonna change that. We're gonna change that.
It'll happen.
Someday,
we're all gonna become famous, and we're gonna tour the world.
Okay.
It'll be incredible.
What song would you guys want to listen to off this album?
I'd say that we have to go with the most listened to one, and that is Butterfly Dance. That is quite a classic.
It's my favorite one, so I'm not gonna argue against that.
It's super strong, actually.
All right, let's get it going.
If you told me that was on the King or Donkey Kong soundtrack of any game, I'd believe you.
Yeah,
I was when I initially started that one. I was actually going for a Legend of Zelda sort of sound.
Okay.
When I was
with the ocarina,
Cinnabon, they featured on one of my on one of the Twist albums. They are still working on their first album. When I showed this song to them, that's what they said. They said it reminds me of one of the Zelda songs. I'm like,
yeah,
I haven't played those games, so I don't know.
That's kind of what ended up happening with it, and I kind of just stuck with it. So, but it's good. I like it. Yep.
Very nice.
And then this next one, I'm partial to because
Calms
this one
that
calms the nerves.
See, it's 11 consecutive beers. I thought it was bears.
That's still a great title. I mean,
that is also a good song name. So Calms the Nerves, it's a concept album because I really like the idea of having an album that was like a full story where it's one after the other kind of thing. And I had this idea for a little bit and I just wanted to get everything made. And 11 consecutive beers is probably my favorite one off the album.
can agree personally. It's very good.
It's a bit long for a Schroit song. I believe it's about 51, 52 seconds, something like that. Which is, for a Schroit song, that's a considerable amount of time, right? But the main thing is I wanted to start like calm and melodic, but because it's 11 consecutive beers, I'm like, I'm gonna make it in 11/4.
Boom, jazzy.
So it was very fun. But I really liked how it came out. And honestly, I made it, and I was like, it's almost funnier that like I could have used this melody for like a non-Schroit, like more like serious quote unquote thing, and like used it well. But I'm like, no, I'm using this for Schroit because it's awesome. But yeah, the main melody in 11 consecutive beers, you also hear in Prelude to Safe Driving and right at the end of a license and registration, please. So it's like that recurring themes, and then there's also themes from I Feel Great and Taxi Ignorance that you can hear in Vehicular Manslaughter. So it's one of those ways of kind of tying everything together, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm very happy with this album. It's definitely. It shows kind of like the style I've been going towards with Lindma and Chosen One World Tour. And to me, this is like an evolution of that. It's like still in that new style where I'm focusing more on tone.
Right.
Anyways, what do you guys think? Maybe you guys think this album sucks.
I'm actually not going to lie right now. I did not know this released. I'm sorry. I have not given this one a listen. This is kind of controversial. I'm sorry.
That's so controversial right now.
I love the titles though, and I love the choice of album cover here. I feel like it's like it's very like badass, and I like the contrast with the yellow text above. It's very nice.
Thank you. I AI generated the car accident picture, and then I found a free website that I could put an image filter. And I was like, let me get a filter to make it more like
fancy.
Wow, that's innovative. Innovative for sure.
I'd also done that on what's its face? On Public Execution. Except that album sucks. It's one of my worst albums. So you don't have to listen to that one.
What are my takes on Calms the Nerves? Well, I like the main theme of it. You have a storyline with the songs. I think I listened to it through one time, so it's not exactly fresh in my mind. I do remember though, 11 consecutive beers. I heard it today, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we'll have to give that one
a shot.
Then. Yeah.
You're telling me that's an 11/4?
That's an 11/4. The whole song
does not feel. It's very natural feeling. It does not feel that way.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to go for.
How did you use beatbox for this?
Yeah, beatbox.
And how did you set it to 11/4?
Because you can go and change beats per bar.
Wow.
And you go to change beats per bar, and then you can change the time signature. It starts with 8 bars or 8 beats per bar. Sorry.
Right, that's true.
And then you can just change that. So I just crank it up to 11. Yeah. Actually, a cool thing I did to make 11 consecutive beers and I Feel Great flow together. This is like a really interesting detail. Is they're all the chords can be played on the Merlin. Because I just have this Merlin, I was like, what if I make it so all the chords can work on this? So technically, you could play all of the chords on the first 2 tracks of this album just on this.
I can't wait for a acoustic cover of this of these 2 songs. That's something I'm looking very forward to.
That would be insane. That would be crazy.
All right, we were listening through this. I feel like for the entire 50 seconds, I was just I was absorbed into it. I felt like I was the music was me. I don't know. something about it was like ethereal almost. I was like entranced.
Like
it's a solid one.
It's
for sure.
because when you drink 11 consecutive beers, it calms your nerves, right?
It does calm.
There you go.
It fits. It all ties in. It all ties in.
I've got a question. If you could scroll down, I would actually like to hear Prelude to Safe Driving, because I remember that one being incredibly calm, and I love the way that the themes are very similar.
Yeah, because actually they're the same themes. Prelude to Safe Driving takes the same themes from 11 consecutive beers, but this is actually not written on beatbox. This one is a piano track made on MuseScore.
Wow!
But because it's like a little prelude. Yeah, this is advanced. Like,
beautiful.
I love that melody. The fact that I was like, no, this needs to be on my Schroit album. Excellent. Excellent.
For sure.
See, I remember listening through the album and recalling that. Specifically, when I was listening through it, I went 11 consecutive beers, and then I got to a Prelude to Safe Driving and went, oh my god, it's the same theme. And it's incredibly so good. Just
no, I think
awesome.
I think Calms the Nerves is one of my best releases, personally. I know we always keep saying that whenever I make a new release, but I just think that my past 3 albums, I think, have been like kind of fire, and I'm like very happy about them. Like honestly, we're just in a golden age of Schroit currently.
Oh, absolutely,
like the amount of releases and
so much
quality of releases. That's another huge thing. Like I was talking about this with some other people on Schroit Worldwide, that after re-listening to the new Fliff Mill albums that I originally kind of looked over, I'm like, honestly, they're pretty good. And I know that people aren't agreeing with me yet, but okay, you
it'll happen. No, we can't.
I'm doing it to you. No. Just really quick. I'm not going to take a long time here. I'm going to put on one Fliff Mill song and tell me this song is not an absolute banger, okay?
Oh my god!
Right? It's like the first
thing.
We go through the album the first
one
time.
Song.
No, the thing is that you go through that. No, the next one off the album is also an absolute banger as well.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
I'm just saying, at first I went over the first time, nothing stuck to me, and then I'm like, oh, it's because I was too stupid to absorb it all in one listen.
It's like, what are you gonna go listen to Cerium Cerebrum and tell me it's good?
No.
Oh. That track was like great. I love the breakdown, especially at the end of it there. That was very good. I don't think I've listened to that release before. Very, very impressed.
Yeah. No, Fliff Mill is like, I mean, he's the first. And he's a real like mixed bag of things, because he just throws stuff all over the place. He tries new things all the time, but a lot of the time you listen to something, you're like, oh my goodness, this is so ahead of its time in Schroit. Like, he was like the ultimate Yoi pioneer, straight up. He started using the Yoi in ways that no one else had even thought of. And it's crazy. Anyways.
Truly a pioneer of the genre.
Oh, yeah. Then there's this new Handburglar. This new Handburglar EP. I remember being like, that's pretty solid. I haven't listened to it much, so not a lot of it is like stuck to me.
I remember personally liking The Ugly.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
That sounds right to me. But honestly, I don't remember too much. I do love the art though. The art.
It's pretty
That's
awesome.
very sick.
They the bodgi the.
That shared hat is quite like meaningful. I don't know. It really like encapsulates the sound of the album for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll just give the ugly a shot because I have vague memories of this. Like honestly, I feel like I just need more time to like digest this. Right? Like I feel like it's one of those albums where like we hear it and we're like, okay, I see what's going on, but because we've been bombarded by so much Schroit, like we haven't been able to like appreciate. It's an album we're gonna have to come back to a couple times to really take it all in.
It'll just get better with age for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what's his face? Like Forced Allegiance by Fifth Mid. That's one of those albums that, came out originally and we were all like, wow, this sucks. Right? Everyone thought it legitimately at the time I said, Fifth Mid, this is your worst album to date by far. And now we look back at it and we're like, this is one of your best works. This is one of your masterpieces. It has Copper Wires.
Oh, Copper Wires is an interesting, it's a very interesting release because of the fact that when it did come out, it was terrible.
Oh yeah, no one liked it. No one. Right,
but something happens, and after you give it time, and the switch flicks in your brain, and then I don't know. It is good.
It all soaks in.
It's got its own theme, It's just very good.
And then there's also Blick Mick. This is way more controversial. God. Yeah,
insane. I have to say, I love the experimentation.
Yeah, this. I mean, this is like one of the most like defining Hamburglar albums right now. Right, like. First things first, AI generated music in Schroit, insane. It fits the genre though. It fits.
It does. Yeah.
But I love the way that all of the proof of songs, they all like share that same melody, but they're like different versions of that same melody. Really interesting way to tie things together. So it's like just because it's AI generated doesn't mean it's not personalized, right? Doesn't mean that it's not cohesive because he's still adding that in to tie everything together, which is like really cool. I'm also realizing that 2 of the songs only have 1 listen right now, which is really cool.
I haven't listened to it. I would have listened through the whole album. So I have not. Yeah. So I didn't actually know this release happened until like, before starting the podcast.
Yeah. So it's fair. I mean, admittedly, I'm way more on my game of a new album comes out and the moment I can listen to it, I listen to it, but that's not the case with everyone I understand.
Well, it's just one that I missed. I usually am on top of it. I mean, the Mr. Arg album came out, and I was the first one on it.
True, that's true. No, I remember the one that stood out to me the most was Blick McKnight.
For sure.
That one was what is it? If I remember, it was I'm forgetting the name of genres that are inferior to Schroit. It's like lo-fi. Something like that.
Oh, okay, interesting.
But yeah, we can get this guy going here. Like, come on now. I mean,
wow,
that's crazy.
That's
like
too good.
Hamburglars.
Too good for Schroit.
But that's good. See, I feel like
it's fantastic.
Schroit is going in a direction where I think a lot of people are starting to realize that Schroit is funny, but it's good. Like it's silly and it's ridiculous, and even though some of it on a very objective level you could say is not good, it's good though.
Good,
right? Like Hamburglar is
but no game.
Exactly. Like he's such an interesting Schroiter because like he's got some albums that you hear and it blows your mind. Like, Beef Critters is hands down, Beef Critters is one of the best Schroit albums of all time. Hands down. I think that's the safest take I've ever given in a Schroit podcast. Right? That Beef Critters is one of the best Schroit albums. It's so good. But then he's also got some albums that, I'm sorry, but that that aren't that.
No. What's the one with the squids?
Yeah.
Terrible album.
About my Splatana. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So and we've already hyped this one up a little bit, but this new
my goodness,
Ramusi of Unman, it's so good.
Ramusi of Unman, yeah. Every track, it's like the same thing, but at different speeds.
Yeah,
crazy.
So you listen to one of them, you technically know what they all sound like, but you'll never know until you listen to the entire album. You can listen to it from the start to the end, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. Also, Downright Thickening. Such a good name. So what are you saying, Magi?
Oh, I was going to mention that, like, I love the minimalism in this album. I really like it. Just it's so, like, despite not having much to, like, really analyze, I feel like it just still, like, has so much emotion and so much, like, personal touch. It's very, like, influential.
Yeah. Like, that's something that personally I struggle with as a Schroiter, is I'm, like, musically, I'm a maximalist. I just love throwing a bunch of stuff in at the same time, because that's where my brain goes. But when I hear really good, like, more minimalist Schroit, it's so good. And I'm almost envious of that, right? Like, there's some, like, more minimalist, or not necessarily always minimalist, but some stuff by Fifth Mid that I hear that's a bit, like, simpler, where it's, like, one thing and then it's trading off between two lines, that I just hear and I'm like, that's so good. That's so good. But it's it's
against your nature.
It's against my nature to make that, as much as I like it. But I kind of keep back, because we each have our own, like, niches in the genre. It's okay. I don't have to do all of them. I could stay in my lane and do what I do best, kind of thing. So, what were you saying, Yo-Yo?
So quote from Mr. Arg, is so the creator, which is sadly it's a Sasha Sega Jones here, which is could be it should be Mr. Arg, but where was the quote?
You said something? Quote something?
Yes, quote. I literally hit one key on my synth, hit record, turned a knob slowly for a minute, stopped recording, then cut it into tracks. That's this album. That's exactly how it was made, which is fantastic. Yeah. But what's interesting is that it's not made on a software specifically, like most other albums. It's actually recorded. Which puts Mr. Arg in a different category almost.
Yeah, he uses a lot of live recordings for Schroit, which is, like, very, very controversial.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what definitely polarizes a lot of his work from, like, the Schroit world. Not necessarily, like, a bad way. I think it actually, like, is very good.
Right? Yeah.
I really like the his first release. What is it called? Hold on, let me just look it up. Oh, you have the page right there.
Yeah, he's got definitely some older ones there. Oh,
I think I'm thinking of Meat Cow Meat Pig, actually.
Yeah, Meat Cow Meat Pig. I mean, that's
classic. Ape Night.
Amazing.
45 listens for a reason.
Yeah,
seriously,
dude. Ape Night. I don't think I'm being controversial when I say that Ape Night is his opus right now. Ape Night that's where it's at. It's such a good song. It's such a good song. Like, the first time I heard it, I was like, no way. Like, it's such a simple idea.
For real.
Ape Night. Oh! And then insane. Like, I wish I could have thought of it. I wish I could have thought of it first. Right? but there it is. There it is.
Can't win them all.
Incredible. So I don't know which track we play from Ramusi of Man.
We could play. Why don't we just play the first one? That's the basis for the album.
Render,
right?
Undo, Caesar. Or Renter.
Maybe like we could, like, skip in from 1 to 4, just because 1 to 4 could be summarized pretty easily in words. I feel like either 1 or 4. The opus of the album definitely is 4.
You think so?
I
personally like Vice Rector, Rice Vector.
This is boring, because this is the fastest versus the slowest here.
that's the thing with the album is that you expect it to go faster, and then it doesn't. Right?
That's fair.
That's the way I see it. You go quick. Oh, you're faster, and then you're slows right down.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Vice Rector.
For the sake of simplicity, let's just go with the first one. The baseline.
I think that makes sense
sure.
because that's the baseline, right? That's where the album would start, right?
Yeah. All right. I mean, come on now. There's definitely some Fliff Mid influence in my opinion, just because of that like copper wires kind of.
That's
like
through the low bass notes
kind of thing going
the wobbly
on.
kind of for sure.
Which is very cool. And then
I love the rhythmic sort of beat that goes on. Yeah, really feel it in here, feel it in there.
Yes, it's powerful. It's powerful. And then we've got. You might be familiar with these ones, Madre.
Yeah.
Tell us about Bunky's Ice Cream Parlor.
So Bunky's a character that I made up very quickly. I'm gonna just like reveal that. It was more like a 5 minutes, like what should this album sort of be about, right? So Bunky, he owns an ice cream trailer, a parlor. He calls it a parlor. It is a trailer.
Okay.
You can see in the album cover here, he's serving up one of his tasty little treats. And this album is basically just like a what do you call that? Like an autobiography. It's not of me, but it's a biography of Bunky. So you can see some of the events that go down in Bunky's day-to-day life and what he sort of encounters throughout the songs. Yeah, very fun.
Question about the album: is this
For sure
auto-generated?
No, I did this completely on my own. The only thing I did borrow was a like type beat rap thing for the introduction. I really just threw that one together with a little bit of voice, like whatchamacallit, like the voice generated AI.
Oh right, yeah. Welcome to Bunky.
Big flavorful beef.
Schroit Worldwide.
Schroit Worldwide.
Yeah.
All of these are, I believe they're all beatbox. I'll have to listen through it again, but I believe they are all truly beatbox.
I know one of the things that I liked the most about the album was that like bombastic intro with all the sampling that was like really fun, and then we go to Bunky's Ice Cream Flavors, which are like so calm. Like immediately right off the bat, like the contrast is like jarring in a good way.
Thank you.
No, I was a big fan of that.
I think one of my personal favorites has to be Bunky's Dance Time. I used it's a beatbox adjacent application. It's called Jumbus.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they had a lot of different like I don't know. It was more of like a advanced beatbox. It wasn't as simple, but it really like I don't know. There's some kind of quality to it. The whole I can send you the link. It's
I found it.
Jumbus.bitbucket.io. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Nice.
It's very fun.
This is interesting.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check that out.
I have to, yeah.
I'm like a beatbox purist. Other than the 2 tracks I've done with MuScore, I'm very much a beatbox is my territory, and I'm a big fan. But I really appreciate hearing stuff that goes outside of beatbox because it's I mean it stands out. It's awesome. So what are you saying, Yo-Yo?
Right. I was asking about the album art itself.
Okay. What did you want to know about it? How it was done. Oh, sorry. No. Okay. This is I took a lot of different like generations with DALL-E, and it took a lot of random phrases, but I eventually got to like the position that I wanted. And I think Bunky in this photo is just like it's very like classic Bunky. He has green skin. He has this very evil grimace. With the one big tooth, you can see that wasn't planned. That was sort of, this was a button right here. That may be revealed in a later album, what that button actually is. There may be a little Bunky storyline going on.
Is that where the cream
sounds like a good
from?
time.
You'll have to find out.
Press the button and it comes out.
It might be on the right track though. And he's wearing overalls because in real life, I enjoy a little pair of overalls, and I just feel like it adds the little MADRE touch to the album.
Would you consider Bunky to be maybe your fursona?
I could say that he's definitely like a goblin Sona, if you want to use that term. So like, yeah, this is definitely like me as a goblin Sona.
Cool. Nice. Cool. Excellent. Nice. All right, so you're saying Bunky's Dance Time. We can get that one going here.
For sure. I feel like it's the weakest one, but you know, it is my personal favorite.
Hey, that's what's most important here.
There you go.
Bam. Ooh. It's quick, it's sweet, it gets. And that's one of the things that I appreciate with a lot of Madre Muchacho songs is a lot of them, they retain that like old school Schroit essence of like making it real slow. Cause I feel like at least for my own like Schroit, I feel like it's been getting a bit longer. Like I've been really being more between 20 to 40 seconds, like usually between there for most of my songs. But you know, that wasn't always the case. Like I've been getting a bit more because I'm becoming more and more maximalist in my Schroit, but I appreciate when I can hear like good Schroit and it's like a 16-second song. I'm like, awesome. Fantastic.
I just love keeping it like so short that you have this sort of condensed like idea and then you know, go to point A to point B as fast as you can. And
exactly. Trim the fat.
Release is like exactly. I think this album is about a minute and something long, but it does tell the story of Bunky pretty accurately.
Yeah. No, it gives a pretty good description of everything he's doing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And his smile, it's quite evil.
It is really evil. You can, yeah, for sure.
Just looking at him, he's up
quite scary.
And then we have "Yell at Your Doggy." Now, this is a detail. I don't know how many people are gonna know this. You had released another album before this, right?
Yeah.
And then I noticed it disappeared, and then some of those tracks showed up on this. I'm like, what's going on?
It was quite a confusing little time. I'll have to find the original album cover for Mezdags.
Yeah.
The album was called Mezdags, if y'all remember. Can't seem to find it in my recent. So Mezdags was it was planned out to be an EP, but I really didn't like the quality of the, you know, because when I make a Schroit album, I really have to like consider each song thematically throughout the entire piece of work, and I just feel like it wasn't there. So I had to just, this is more of like a Mezdags deluxe if you were a fan of Mezdags. You sort of think of it as that.
Yeah. And the album art here is fantastic as well, by the way.
Absolutely.
Like, this is like maybe your best album art. Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
The way that kid is going to destroy that dog.
Yell at your doggy.
Also the painted part, yeah. I have a question.
Your name, the name for this album. What made you pick Yell at Your Dog?
So I feel like this, the work in this album is very like, it's a little more aggressive, at least for Madre Muchacha. You know, you hear stuff on Bunky's Ice Cream Parlor that's very upbeat and happy. On Kun, the Small Ladybug, definitely like the happy vibes. And I feel like there's not as much of that on here as there is on my other albums. So I really wanted to like, you know, yell at your doggy.
Yeah, encapsulate that kind of violence.
Exactly. Yeah, you get it.
And the album cover is just, I mean,
it's awesome.
I'd love it on a shirt, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, actually.
Sweet.
And there's a lot of tracks too. There's a lot of tracks. It's a 10
track. I think it's my longest piece of work to date, I think. Maybe.
No,
I personally remember You Know Who You Are and Rat Smoking a Joint to be my favorite tracks.
I have to say Rat Smoking a Joint is my personal favorite as well. And Gilbert's Ballad, but there's more information on that one if you want to get into it later, or I can get into it now.
Yeah. I'll start by throwing in my favorite one because I want to be included. You Know Who You Are as well. That was a really, really solid starter. And Damned to Hell for 1 minute, which was originally Damned to Hell for 45 seconds. I remember because I commented that in Schroit Worldwide. And then I was like, the album's gone. Like, it just looks like I'm commenting about the hand, like not the hamburger. It looked like I was commenting about the the Amsterdam album. And I was like, yeah, I really like this song that doesn't
That one
exist
song
on
doesn't
it.
exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite.
Yeah, what's
No,
the
yeah,
Gilbert's Ballad lore?
So Gilbert's Ballad is the longest Madre Muchacha release that there is. It's I think the clock's in is about 2 minutes, and it's pretty repetitive. It's actually live recorded with I think it was Audacity, something like that. And I was just playing around with the EQ for one of the synths, and then by the end, it really got into like this big messy sort of melange of sounds, and then it goes down to this one simple synth. So it really is a ballad telling the story of Gilbert. Gilbert may, have another album dedicated to his life and stuff like that in the future. But yeah.
Okay. I do remember this album. So I think you've started using more actual audio inputs from using Audacity and stuff in your other albums, in this album too. I think like New York Smoothie has guitars.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's You Can Talk to Me in New York Smoothie that have it's all based on, I can pull up the guitar. Was playing this instrument completely on this album through an audio interface, and it was done through the DAW Ableton. Ableton, but with a D in front. So it was completely in there, and I feel like I want to explore the sort of more acoustic side of Schroit, or like the live side of Schroit, because I think that's an area that's not quite been tapped, and I want to explore in that. I think I did an album. It's not quite Schroit. It was Hell Jazz. That was a release from I think January, and it was really my take on it was me and Eggplant Soldier. He has not released an album yet, but that may be coming up soon. I'll have to introduce that. I think he's on the Schroit Discord actually.
Okay.
But yeah, I really, really enjoy the musical, the more physical musical ideas of Schroit.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's got its own controversial sort of thing going on. Very cool. So Rat smoking a joint, or you know who you are?
That's I think one that we're all like grooving with. I don't know.
That's valid.
I like this
for
one.
Sure.
Yeah,
I remember being good.
100%.
Like
that's absolutely
it's
insane.
Fire, dude. It's fire.
It's so good. I appreciate it.
On one hand, I'm like, I see a little bit of Yo-Yo Wiggins, a little bit, but at the same time, it's different enough that I don't even necessarily fully agree with myself.
That's the thing, is that the long slides and the almost I'm terrible at words. Anyway, the way that it just moves so much. I like how the end section, it's kind of got the popcorn drum sort of thing going on, though, if I remember correctly, which is some flifmil, pretty cool. This is a sick track. I mean, we're not saying that this is clearly your own song. But there's some stuff, right? Some stuff that's it just is what it is. But it's absolutely insane. Question about how did you do? Did you use beatbox for this too?
So could you scroll down a little bit? I kind of want to just go through and see. So I believe all of it is beatbox except for the 2 guitar songs.
Okay.
Random generation synth thing and drum thing. I'm really into that recently for my musical endeavors in Schroit. It just adds like a very creative flavor, and I feel like you get more out of your songs with the generation.
Okay. So how did you do those slides? It's absolutely insane.
The slides and You Know Who You Are?
Yeah. I mean, because you just take one long note and kind of up and down on that thing? Or?
Not too sure. If you go into beatbox, there must be I don't know. I definitely was an auto-generated synth sort of situation that just had its own sliding property. It might be in the settings. I don't really quite know.
Okay.
But yeah, a technique I used for that song was I just. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at your Jimbus. How did you find the Jim box? Actually, the Jum box.
I believe that song was made on Beatbox, but I found Jimbox through. If you scroll down, there's like a bunch of like shared on Twitter little section there where you can find a lot of cool stuff, and one of them included like, yo, if you like Beatbox, you would like this one, and it was just another like I would call it like a flavor of Beatbox. This is the Jumbus flavor, but yeah, like it was very very cool.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. I just searched up Beatbox, and there's one that's a GitHub page.
Really?
Modbox 3.2.2. Interesting.
I'll have to explore that later.
Yeah, a Beatbox Scratch Studio. What? No
wait,
way.
on Scratch?
Are you kidding?
On I don't know yet. Wait.
That's controversial.
No. No. It's some discussion thing. No, it's not actually it.
Yeah.
Beatbox. Purpose of the studio is not only to show.
Holy fuck, this broccoli is cool. I want to show that on my camera.
Yo, I
holy
see that broccoli.
Fuck. Hold on, let me save this shit. Let me
It's a lot of cuss words.
Oh, my bad. Is this a oh.
Remember, usually we do a Bible study.
Hey, my bad. I am so sorry.
No, that's okay.
I accept Jesus as my Lord.
We didn't really lay out the rules.
Yeah,
not that we're very good at following them anyway. I mean,
yeah. Dude, that broccoli. So cool.
Sick as hell.
Absolutely insane.
Dude, that's flipping crazy, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Nice.
Okay.
So that that makes these albums. we can get into the interview now. We can ask you some questions because I think the main thing that I think a lot of people are gonna want to know is what motivated you to become a Schroiter.
I got contacted by Hamsterdam. I think it was in October around then, and for a long time I've loved making music. I've always made little tiny tunes, especially like in Ableton, right? And I just found the Schroit genre to be super appealing to like this want to make music, but also not really wanting to like to put months and months into a body of work. I really like to have like an idea in present time and then just like exude that idea. I'm gonna move my camera so you can get my face. But yeah, I just really like the simplicity of the genre, and I found that it's a very tight knit community as well, which I appreciate. Listening to a lot of different artists, I get like very inspired to make more Schroit. So it's really like this cyclical cycle of consumption. I really, really dig it.
Yeah. Awesome. No, like I agree. Like that's one of the best things with Schroit is whenever you're like, it'd be cool if I made a song like this, Schroit.
There you go.
You could just get it out. It's fantastic for
I've made albums in like literally 20 minutes, and it was just because like I got home and I was like, what if this idea was an album? And then go from there.
And sometimes you make one of the quick ones, and it's like one of your biggest hits. And then it just
Color Boys was made like 25 minutes or half an hour maybe.
That's such a good EP. That's such a good EP.
Thank you, I appreciate it. That's one of my personal faves too.
Nice. Okay, this is another question, but I guess it's a good time to ask it. What is your favorite album or just release in general that you've made?
Oh shit. My bad. Let's pull up the flippin' profile. Okay. Let's go through the I think my favorite. I'm a big sucker for the self-titled with the metal logo, but that just might be because I put the most effort into it. So like, this is a compilation of some of my favorite tracks I've ever made to date, along with some new ones. I think Diet Pepsi River Travel, Slapping Your Nuts, and don't remember there's Asian Market Battle Theme. So those three I made specifically for this release because I wanted to have some like more of like a deluxe MADRE Muchacho album, right? I put the most effort into Diet Pepsi River Travel. That one was made with I took some Earthbound like sound packs and used them in FL Studio alongside some like little tricks and whatnot. And it's also in a weird time signature. I don't remember what it was, but like I feel like that's my favorite, body of work that I've done so far.
Okay, interesting. Because I know, at least for me, I'm not as very familiar with this album. I think I've listened to it, but I like if I had to like get a big list of like here's what I think about all these tracks, I wouldn't have it on top of my head. The album I'm the most familiar with is for me definitely Kun. Right?
Okay,
for me,
for sure.
Kun was the album that I listened to where I was like, oh, okay. Now we're cooking. I mean, Slangle's Meat Trunk is just that goes good.
In the podcast where you were talking about this, you did mention that you really like that song. That's one of my proudest Schroit tracks, I'd have to say, to date.
Nice.
Or at least like bodies of work. I just feel like it ties in itself like so well. And yeah, I had to throw in a little cover song at the end for the kids,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, small
exactly.
I'll definitely have to go back and listen to your self-titled though. I'll definitely have to give that one a
This
listen.
is a compilation of the first like 5 bodies of work there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
it's a compilation album of
They're all renamed too, I think, just to like fit the album vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice. Fight. And now this is a fun one here. What's your favorite Schroit album that you didn't make?
Oh
shit!
I would have to. One.
That is really tough. I really liked the Lime release from recent. That one was really, really solid. That was like very, if I'm going to fit to the Lime genre, I'd say it's sour. It's very it's puckery. It's very juicy. One of the more classic ones that are exactly, yeah, for sure. I'd have to say that maybe the first Amsterdam album is a classic because that's what really got me into Schroit and making Schroit.
Yeah.
I just love the sounds of was it WarioWare? The DS?
WarioWare, yeah.
That's a very, very solid one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, good pick. I'm just glad one of my albums got in there.
No, I'm I agree with what you said earlier that I just love the current wave of Schroit. I think it's really interesting and a lot of good work is coming out for sure.
Like I think we're really lucky actually right now to have such a an active community in the Schroit world because for months there was barely any releases. I personally didn't release anything for 4 months, right?
Yeah.
And now it's just everything's coming together. We're very active. Super happy about that.
Yeah. Straight up, like before this new wave, I was kind of getting worried that things were dying. And I was like, I don't know how well the genre is going to be doing, but I'm going to try. And now things are exploding and it's going fantastic.
I just want to mention this. We are planning a live show on the 26th.
Yes.
It's on a Friday in next week?
Yeah.
Not this Friday,
but next week.
Next week.
Yeah.
So we don't know. I know you're not in our area.
The only thing is like accessing the area. I am banned from, all of New Brunswick. I do live in New Brunswick, but I am like banned of most parts of it. So I have to talk with some people and get in safely, but I think that I think it might be able to be done. I'll have to take a look and see. Yeah,
get clearances and stuff.
Yeah,
because, of course, yeah. Like
quite frankly, if you showed up, we're gonna force you to perform.
Of course, I would be happy to. Yeah,
right. Excellent.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Sweet.
And speaking of that, I mean, do you mind if I say which part of New Brunswick you live in? Or did you already mention?
I grew up in Greater Moncton, but I live in Fredericton right now for like school and whatnot. So
something I have to ask about that is, what are the challenges and struggles of being a Schroit or like a Schroiter in like the Fredericton scene? Which has
as far as I know, I was gonna say, as far as I know, I'm like the only one here. But like, I don't know. I feel like since it's such like an online and like, over Discord sort of community, it's not that different. I feel like it's a good question. I just have to say it's not that different. I'm not gonna lie. I don't find any like challenges being separated from the Schroiters. But yeah.
Nice. That's great. You know, that's inspiring to all of our maybe international aspiring
Mhm.
Schroiters, right? They might be
international, interprovincial.
exactly.
Extra-provincial.
Schroiters across the globe, right? And
Yeah.
Schroit worldwide.
Across the disc.
Mhm.
You got that right.
This is a good one. What's your favorite genre other than Schroit? Because we know that if you could say any of them, it would be Schroit, but other than Schroit.
Of course. I do like I'm just gonna preface. I do run a radio show here in Fredericton at the local college campus radio. It's called the Goose Radio Hour, and I do play a lot of music there. A lot of different kinds of music. I'd say like a good indie sort of rock would be a fair sort of over what do you call that, like umbrella term.
Yeah.
Also really big into like overarching. There you go. Yeah.
Encompassing. I don't know.
That's a beautiful word. I love that word. Large.
Large.
I am a very big Electric fan as of recent, though. Like when I went to college, like I really got into like Sophie, if you're familiar, like artists like Sophie, Arca, and like Auteka, just like really like textural sort of sounding. That actually relates a lot to Schroit itself, where it's just like sort of expressionary and sometimes textural, like the rhythmic Remecy of and with Sasha Seika Jones. I'm very bad.
Oh yeah, Remecy of and Man.
Of and Man, right. But yeah, I really am addicted to like very textural and expressionary sort of sounds and music, and those artists really, do that for me.
Mm-hmm. Nice. No, I mean, obviously I love Schroit, but when it comes to electronic stuff, I've always been like, I want to get into it more. There's some like I'm a big metal fan. Like I love Cybergrind, and I think you can tell based off of some of my music, like especially like the earlier stuff where I did a lot more travel songs that were like basically metal Schroit songs. It was just me being like, hey, I like Cybergrind, and this is like silly version. But no, it's neat, and I can definitely hear that in your sound, and it's good to have Schroit artists that have different musical backgrounds, all creating Schroit because they influence the music they make, in different ways. Like Yo-Yo Wiggins is much more of a, you like your glam, you like your butt rock, you like your emo.
Yeah, I love butt rock.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Butt rock.
Straight up. It's either.
It's a great name.
Nickelback.
Ooh.
Yeah. Puddle of Mud. I love butt rock.
Yeah.
Oh, that one Puddle of Mud cover of that Nirvana song. Was it about a girl?
Oh
yeah. It was some Nirvana song.
I heard that. It was really awesome.
It was so good, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, but like when I hear like the crabs are coming, I'm like, you can tell.
Yeah. That's
it's cool. And again, speaking about our our musical backgrounds, I just wanted to ask, like, so I know that we know that you play some instruments, but like what instruments do you play? Like what do you do?
I mainly do play guitar. I don't really have many other instruments. I have like a little like piano here that I'm trying to learn all the chords and stuff on. I actually do use this for Schroit occasionally when I'm using Ableton. Use little pads up here for a little live flavor, you could say. But no, it's mainly like a guitar bass sort of situation. I'm able to play like the drums a little bit, and like I rented a saxophone for Hell Jazz, so I don't really know how to play, but I did like press a lot of the buttons and blow very hard. So yeah, I guess you could say in terms of Hell Jazz, quite many, but in the real world, like guitar bass.
Okay. Yeah. Question about, you mentioned using Ableton. I also use Ableton. What tracks or albums that you, or what albums did you use Ableton for?
I don't know off the top of my head. I can definitely check out the albums section. Definitely. I did have I kind of forgot about this. I had a large phase with Ableton, like stock sort of samples. So the Flink Guma era of Schroit, or of
is so
MADRE.
good.
That is one of my favorite ones. Even though it doesn't sound very Schroit-y, it's still very very intense. It has a little breakdown in the middle there.
Desert Footage. Love Desert Footage.
Oh, Desert Footage. Right. I believe that one was made in Ableton as well.
Nice.
But yeah,
I love my Ableton tracks. Honestly, when I do them,
they're very fun to make.
Some of the best albums I have. My first album was made on Ableton, and that was
Consume the
iconic
Computer.
album.
I mean, yeah, like Steven's Apocalypse is the most listened to Schroit song. It's got like 180 listens.
Let's do my own horn.
Yeah, and here's this crazy thing. Okay, top 3 most listened to Schroit songs of all time: Yo-Yo Wiggins, Steven's Apocalypse; Fliff Mills, The Futility of Looking Both Ways; and Mint Miracles, The Gift of Giving. All 3 of these songs prominently use the yoy.
That's true.
Is it a coincidence?
Yoy means good short for sure.
It's the yoy is where it's the best instrument.
Yoy.
It's so powerful. It's so powerful. And that's one of the things that scares me of moving away from beatbox is I want the yoy. Even if I don't always use the yoy, like it just the idea of being away from it is so scary. It's so scary.
It's such a comforting thing. You know, it's there. It's like the mommy holding your hand, whether or not it's a mommy.
Exactly.
But they're there. They're there for you.
Yeah.
Something very comforting about a nice
Guardian
long
angel.
dubstep yoy.
The guardian angle. Yeah.
And that's what everything that I had for questions. This has definitely been a very long episode.
Yeah, we've been running like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't actually write any questions down. I wrote questions and gave them to Mint.
Yeah.
So I'm out of questions. I asked the questions that I had. So
Sweet.
Yeah, we can probably conclude our interview and Schroit Worldwide podcast.
I think this is a great episode, even though we only had
fantastic.
two of the regular members gone, but plus one guest, which is pretty good. I think honestly, I think that was pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how everything went. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for joining. It was awesome.
Thank you for having me. I really liked going through the releases and stuff, and then just talking a little bit about some of my past albums and recent stuff. I really enjoyed this time. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching this amazing episode of the Schroit Worldwide podcast. Again, I'm Mint Miracle. Remember to subscribe, join our Discord, and just embrace the glory of Schroit. And hopefully we'll see you next week with Fliff Mill. We'll be back from Barcelona, and we'll get to do another Bible study. So thank you all, and we'll see you later. And then I hit stop recording button.